Hi, I'm Erin Kanagy-Loux from Reynard Wythe Hotel. I am a 2015 StarChefs.com New York Rising Star. Today we're at Bruno, and I'm going to show you how to make a Rose Panna Cotta using Fresh Origins ingredients. We're going to be starting with the Rose Panna Cotta. We're going to start by blooming the gelatin. We're going to be blooming it in cold water, and then once it's fully melted, fridge it, and it gels. While we have the gelatin blooming, we're going to start melting down rose crystals. Next, we're going to be putting in the 90 grams of milk. You're going to pull your gelatin sheets out of your water, and you're going to wring out the excess water. Gelatin melts down pretty quickly, so this shouldn't take any time. Take your 44 grams of yogurt and put it into a bowl. And then you're going to take your 90 grams of heavy cream and gently stir that into your warm milk mixture. You want to go slowly just to make sure you don't have any lumps and to evenly disperse the yogurt throughout the whole mixture and keeping it really nice and creamy and smooth. So we're now going to take this panna cotta mixture and put it into an ice bath. We want to cool it down gently. I'm going to be adding a vinegar. We're going to add in some of the final touches for flavor. We have salt and we have rosé vinegar. There's not real amounts to these two ingredients. It's about to taste for the rosé vinegar. A little goes a really long way. The next thing we're going to do with the panna cotta base is we're going to pour it into your molds or your glassware. From here, we're going to put these into a refrigerator and let them chill until they're fully set, and then we'll finish it off from there. So while we're waiting for the panna cotta to set, we're going to move on to the basil meringues. So 60 grams of egg whites. Then we're going to add half a teaspoon of distilled vinegar. You're going to begin whipping your whites with your distilled vinegar until the mixture looks frothy, kind of like beer foam. At that point, you're going to start slowly sprinkling in 120 grams of white sugar, a quarter of a teaspoon of cornstarch, and we're going to be using basil crystals. What we've done is pulverize them in a spice grinder to grind them up much finer, so you get a nice even flavor distribution of the basil. You're going to take a spatula and put some directly onto your lightly greased parchment paper. Once you have everything spread and you have your garnishes sprinkled on top, you're going to put this into a 180 or 200 degree Fahrenheit oven. You just want to make sure they don't brown on the edges and that they're thoroughly dried out. So while we're waiting for the panna cotta to set, the meringues to dry, we're going to move into a Lovage mascarpone whipped cream. So we're going to start by putting the mascarpone into a bowl. I like using mascarpone because it's got a nice thick consistency and it also has a really nice creaminess. We're going to add the heavy cream. Mascarpone whips and can over whip really quickly because it has a high amount of fat, a much higher amount of fat than cream, because you can tell by the consistency. So it shouldn't take long to whip up. So at this stage I'm going to start adding my sugar, my salt, and Lovage to taste. We have the powdered sugar. I'm going to put a few pinches of salt in, and then we're going to sprinkle in some of the dehydrated micro Lovage dust. We're going to put this into a container and refrigerate this until we're ready to do our final plating. So we're now on to the assembly of our rose panna cotta. We've used Fresh Origins rose petals to create this dried rose powder. You're going to impart the flavor without imparting any more sugar or salt or moisture, and it's just going to kind of meld in with everything. Next, we're going to do a small quenelle of our mascarpone whipped cream. So now we're going to finish with a little bit of Maldon. It's a coarser sea salt. Then I'm going to take the micro Lovage and place them inside the glass. And again, the micro Lovage is a really great product to use because it is so small. It makes it easier to have that flavor profile in every bite. So now we're going to take our basil crystal meringues and we're going to gently place them inside along with everything else. With the caramel shards, we're going to place them on top. And you're going to very gently torch the outside of the sugar, and it's going to gently droop because it's melting and kind of encase the top of the glass. And here's our final product. We have our Rose Panna Cotta using Fresh Origins products. Enjoy.